I'm standing outside of my very first investment property. I bought this home when I was 21 years old and I was living with my parents. I want to talk to you about the problems that I had here, and at the end of this video, I'm gonna talk about the profits we're gonna be able to get on this property. My name is Carlos Rodriguez. I'm a realtor here in Las Vegas. I help first-time home buyers buy their home and renovate before they move in, and I help sellers renovate to get top dollar in today's market. So I actually bought this home back in 2010, and back then Obama was giving a credit to first-time home buyers. So I actually received a $9,000 credit to buy this home, and essentially I bought this home with zero money down. But in this video, I also want to cover the things that people don't talk about, the type of issues that you run into. For example, at this house 5 years ago, there was a fire in one of the spare bedrooms upstairs. One of the kids, I guess, was playing with some matches and caught his blanket on fire. Then that caught the carpet on fire. The whole upstairs was lit up in flames. And thankfully nobody got hurt, but there was a lot of damage done. The firefighters showed up, they ran upstairs, they broke all the windows upstairs to let the smoke out. They cut a hole all throughout the ceilings to put water up there, and the whole water was basically flooded. Downstairs there was about a foot of water when they were here. So something that I didn't know is that when you get into a fire, when the firefighters show up, they actually do more damage with the water than what the fire did. So the whole house needed to get completely renovated, but that's when your insurance comes into play. They came in, renovated the whole entire house for us. So we actually came up on top because we got a brand new house after that. And I'm very happy with how everything turned out. And let me show you around on where the fire happened. And during that time of the fire, I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but the tenant threatened to put a lawsuit on me because they felt that I should have covered their personal property that got damaged. And the son actually had to go to the hospital because he inhaled a lot of the smoke. But in the lease agreement, there specifically says that every tenant should get their own home insurance, their renter's insurance, because my homeowner's insurance does not cover any personal property from the tenant. So I was protected there and I was able to overcome that lawsuit. So a little pro tip for you is always get a lease agreement. And what I do, I highlight the part that specifically says that you are responsible to get your own renter's insurance to cover your personal property. So right now we're actually standing in the room where the fire started. There was a huge hole in the ground right here where the fire started. This whole wall was melted and the fire got into the master bedroom as well. The whole ceiling was all melted right here. Out here, it was all black from the smoke. When the carpet catches on fire, it releases this black toxic smoke, and it's very, very bad for you if you inhale this type of smoke. And luckily, the child that was in here was able to get out on time. He did inhale some smoke, and that's part of the threatening that the tenant did as far as covering the bills for the hospital and all of that. But we were protected by the lease agreement, and they were actually at loss because they did not have renter's insurance. So very, very important to keep that in mind. But after the insurance came out, did the renovations, they renovated the whole entire house. We got all brand new windows, brand new air ducts, all brand new cabling, and AC unit got replaced too. So I got a brand new AC unit. So we actually were blessed with this fire. I know it sounds a little horrific, but the house is brand new now, and I was able to bring in new tenants at a higher price point since they were gonna have a brand new house to live in. Let me show you a little bit around on the upgrades that we did here. Another issue that I had a few months ago was with the AC unit. Actually, the blower went out and I had to replace it, and that was about $1,100. And that has to get replaced immediately because it can be considered a health risk, especially in the summertime. And when I came in to the property after he reported that the AC went out, I came and looked at the filters and they were filthy dirty. They haven't been replaced probably like in a year and a half, I would say. The whole vent was saturated with dust. And when I looked around at the other vents, they also had dust that were coming out. So that tells me that the filter was not replaced in a very long time, and it was overworking the AC unit, and that's why the blower burnt out. So being a landlord is a lot of responsibility. You do have to come and check on the conditions and the maintenance of the property. If not, you're gonna run into issues like the AC going out. I know that may sound like a lot of problems and issues to getting into an investment property, but the worst case scenarios happen to me. The fire damage is basically the worst thing that can happen with an investment property. But now I'm gonna cover the profit side. So follow me downstairs and let me break it down for you. Now let's talk about the profits. So back in 2010, Obama was giving out a $9,000 credit to first-time home buyers. And since this was my first home, I received that credit later that year after I purchased the property. My out-of-pocket costs were about $6,100 for down payment and closing costs. And I actually made money that year by purchasing the house with that $9,000 credit. So I actually made about $3,000. We came into the property, we did some renovations, just minor stuff like paint and clean the carpets. We were able to rent it out within 2 weeks, and we charged $1,100 every month for rent. My mortgage payment is only $600 with a 4% interest rate. That still left us with a $500 cash flow every month. So every year I was netting about $6,000. Basically passive income. I didn't have to work for that money. I would receive it every single month. And now we're sitting here 11 years later. We've made a total of $66,000 in passive income off this one property. So that's enough to cover some maintenance. Water heaters go out every 6 years, things like that. That is plenty of income to cover your expenses. So one thing I want you to understand, that investing in real estate is a long-term game. We didn't get these type of profits right away. So within the years, it starts building, you start building equity, the property prices keep going up. So essentially you can raise your rental income. If you plan on buying a rental property, plan to keep it at least 7 years and make sure your cash flow every month is a minimum of $200. That way you have enough money to take care of repairs and maintenance on the property and not have to pay anything out of pocket. So now the beautiful part about owning an investment property is that we have options. We have a ton of equity that we can pull out, do a cash out refi, and keep renting the property out at a higher rent amount, or we could just sell it and cash out and be done with it. So let me run both scenarios so you can see what it looks like. If we would decide to sell this property right now, it's worth about $350,000. The mortgage still owed here is $60,000. You take away closing costs and realtor fees and all of that, you're left with the profit of $266,000 if you were to sell this property, right? So you can add your $266,000 plus your cash flow that you had the last 11 years together, which makes it a total of $332,000 profit in this one investment property over the span of 11 years. The second option would be to do the cash out refi. Keep in mind that you do have to qualify to get this cash out done at a higher monthly payment. So it might not be the best option for everyone. But for this scenario, let's say you do want to do a cash out refi. You would cash out as much as you want. I would do about $200,000 only from this property, so I don't have a really big monthly payment and I can still cash flow from the rental income. So that would give me the option to cash out some money, $200,000, and keep renting out this property and keep making monthly profits. And those are two options that you have when you invest in real estate. And this is just some of the horror stories that happened to me. Not necessarily it's gonna happen to you, so don't be intimidated. And I'm here to help, and I want the same for you. So I'm gonna leave my phone number at the bottom. If you guys have any questions about investing in real estate in Las Vegas, remember, I am a realtor. I help buyers buy and renovate, and sellers renovate before they sell to get top dollar. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.